Hello everyone, this is Ryan Chapman from B.A.S.E Training. Just a little background on me before we get started. I am a USAT Level 1 triathlon coach. I'm also a total immersion swim coach and a beach body coach, which means I work with P90X and Insanity and some of those type of programs with athletes and with general fitness people. And I'm also a Heart Zones certified personal trainer, which allows me to work with heart rate zones and some of this testing with some of my athletes. And I'm also a graduate of Bob Seebahar's Multi-Sport University program. And Bob is the author of a book called Metabolic Efficiency Training, which talks a lot about the benefits of this type of training, as well as the nutritional side of this type of training. And That's something we're not really getting into a whole lot here, the nutritional side of things. But Bob's book talks a lot about that, so go check out Metabolic Efficiency Training by Bob Seebahar if you want more information on that. Okay, now what we're going to talk about today is I want to run you through the test results from an athlete of mine from the season of 2012. This athlete is a female athlete who had done quite a few sprint triathlons, maybe even a couple Olympic triathlons and half marathons as an uncoached athlete for the previous 2 to 3 years before coming to me. And then in 2012, she wanted to do her first half Ironman. So what she was able to do is get a VO2 max test or a performance test done at the beginning of our training, and then we also got to do another one at basically the end of a 16-week base period, which was actually planned for about 12 weeks, but lasted a little bit longer because of an injury, and we didn't want to get into speed work and things like that. So the protocol basically of this training is that we stayed in lower heart rate zones throughout that 16 weeks. We didn't do very much interval training or training up above zone 4. We stayed zone 4 and below for that entire 16 weeks in the biking and running stuff. Okay, this test that was done was a treadmill test, so it's a running test. And basically every 2 minutes we would bump up the speed and increase heart rate until she got to certain levels of oxygen consumption. Okay, so what you're seeing on the screen right now is her first test that was done before she started training with me. And it shows the heart rate zones that were made for her, and it shows a couple of numbers that are of importance. So the first number that we see here is the AB number, which is right here, and that is a heart rate of 132 beats per minute, and I'll explain what AB is here in a second. And then anaerobic threshold, or AT, is 147 beats per minute. Okay, so anaerobic threshold, most people are fairly familiar with that. Anaerobic threshold just simply meaning when you go to full carbohydrate burning versus fat burning. Okay, so our scale over here is fat burning basically, and when you hit that 0 there, that's when you go to the anaerobic threshold. AB, on the other hand, is the 50-50 point of fat to carb utilization. So I've got a little graph here to show that. Very, very simplified. As workout intensity goes up along the bottom here, carb utilization is going up, fat utilization is going down. It's not a linear relationship. There's more of a curve to it. It can be all over the place depending on the athlete. But just for simplification, we've got carb utilization going up, fat utilization going down. When they cross over, that's the point where you're using half and half. That's what we define as the AB point. So for this particular athlete, it was 132 beats per minute to start out with. And then here is her second test. Okay, so what we see here on her second test, the biggest things to note here, and I'll show an overlay of the two here in a second, but AB, the 50-50 point, has gone from 132 to 142, so an entire 10 beat per minute jump. Anaerobic threshold over here has gone to 154, so a 7-point jump in anaerobic threshold. Okay, those are pretty big jumps actually. So if we see the two laid over the top of each other, you can see AB 132 to 142, AT 147 to 154, and you see the difference in the lines there. Now the second test had some anomalies in it with some jumps up and down in zone 1 and at the end of zone 2 there. Those look like just anomalies. The curve is probably much smoother in reality, but that's what it came out on the graphs. And then, so that area that I've shaded there is really the important part. We've basically been able to push that line over to the right and up for zones 3, 4, and right there at the line of zone 5. What that does for the athlete is it means that she can go at higher intensities while still utilizing fat as fuel. That's what that AB going from 132 to 142 tells you, is that she is able to go at a higher heart rate before she even gets to the 50-50 point, all the way up into zone 4 before she even gets to the 50-50 point. And she can go all the way to 154 beats per minute before she's full carb utilization. Okay, so that extra area under the curve that we created there allows her to go at higher intensities while still utilizing fat for fuel, which means that she doesn't have to rely on gels as much. She's not going to have the propensity to crash like a lot of athletes do if they don't get enough fuel, because she's using more fat for fuel. And so we've basically have pushed that line up over into that zone 3 and zone 4 region. And now with that huge base there, when we start building the anaerobic speed and start doing speed work in intervals, we're going to be able to push that AT even further to the right, and be able to have some top end speed for her as well. Okay, so if any of that doesn't make any sense, or you have any questions on that, feel free to contact me. My email is ryan@tribasetraining.com. My website, www.tribasetraining.com. And you can also find me on Facebook, and my business page on Facebook as well, Base Training. And I hope to hear from you, and I hope that helps you understand some of the reasons why guys like Mark Allen use this type of training and what it actually does for you. Because I know for a lot of athletes, going slow at the beginning of the year and doing workouts at lower heart rates just doesn't seem to make sense. They don't want to do it. They'd rather be doing speed work, intervals, running in that black hole zone where it feels like you're really getting a hard workout. And I have to pull a lot of my athletes back and actually, kind of force them to do this type of training. And then the results that they see from it are much greater. So I hope that helps you, and thanks for watching.